To order. This is a meeting of the City of Kingman City Council held at 5 o'clock on Thursday, August 17th, 2023. First, let's start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I've asked Councilor Pat to lead us in that, please. Please place your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The council may go into executive session for legal counsel in accordance with ARS 38-431.03A3 to discuss any agenda item. The following items may be discussed, considered, and decisions made relating thereto. Clerk Meredith, would you like to do roll call, please?
I sure would. Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Watkins.
Here.
Vice Mayor Samily. Here. Councilmember Pat.
Present.
Councilmember Savage.
Here.
Councilmember Scott Staley.
Present.
Councilmember Walker.
Here.
Councilmember Ward.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Great, thank you. Once again, thanks to all of you in your busy schedules for this being here at this special meeting. Item 1A, City Manager Replacement Process. A1, authorization to provide financial services, Director Tina Moline with acting pay while serving as acting city manager. 2, authorization for human resources to initiate a contract with interim public management, IPM, for the placement of an interim city manager. And then item number 3, discussion regarding the recruitment process and next steps for hiring a new city manager. Tina, are we going to pick on you first, or are we going to pick on Krista? Is that?
I think it's the Carl and Krista show tonight.
It's what?
The Carl and Krista show tonight.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And I think mostly we're going to, Krista, unless you have questions for me, so.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Nice to see you tonight. Item number A1, authorization to provide Financial Services Director Tina Moline with acting pay while serving as the acting city manager. Per our city policy, we have the policy that you can pay 5% or to the minimum grade of the next higher up as the acting person. Because the city manager role is a contracted position, there's not really a minimum pay grade. I kind of prepared some percentages for you to consider. If it was a 10%, 15%, or 20% for the acting pay for Director Moline, I have those ranges if you would want to consider them. It would be like for the weekly amount. If it was a 10%, it would be $263.25. If it was a 20%, that's $526.50. The difference between director and the city manager's ending pay was about 32%, just kind of to give you that idea of the range where her position sits right now versus where the former city manager was. So for acting pay, again, typically it's 5 to 10%, but because of the elevated range of duties, you may want to go higher. So I prepared those kind of percentage for the weekly basis for your consideration.
Okay.
Can you
Thoughts from, I just say thoughts from councils?
Can you say what that 10% was again?
10% would be $263.25 per week additional pay.
And then the next one up from there?
15% would be $394.87.
And one more?
$526.50.
And that's 20%?
That's 20%.
Okay.
Council, any thoughts? Carl, we need to probably make a decision on what we want to bump that up to, right?
Yeah, you'd want to make that decision,
Okay.
pick one, make a motion, and
Yes. And of course, this is in addition to her responsibility she already had, which was a busy schedule to begin with.
Correct. Yeah, I don't believe that anything's going to come off her plate during this time as well.
No. And I know she's good at delegating, which we've talked to her about doing that, but still, the buck stops with her still.
Yes, sir.
That's right. Okay.
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay. Vice Mayor?
I'd like to go increase of 20% for Tina Moline. That's my recommendation.
We have a motion of 20%.
I'll
Do we have
second
a second? Okay, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay. That's number one. Krista, number two.
The agenda shows an authorization for the HR department to initiate a contract for the placement for an interim city manager. Clerk Meredith put IPM at, I think, at your direction. We can also explore other firms. We used interim public management in the past, but we're not locked into them. I did secure an offer from them. It does not have the range of rates that the interim would be paid because it's based on their experience and their qualifications. I did talk to another firm. They gave me some rates. The way that interim public management operates is they would like us to enter into an exclusive agreement with them. We would pay a retainer fee of, I believe it's $1,900. The retainer is just to secure that we're going to work with them, and then they get, basically the markup of those temporary services to kind of dumb it down. The $1,900 is then reduced as we use those, like as we place the interim, then his salary or her salary would come off of that $1,900. So it's not like we're paying $1,900 as a fee plus whatever we spend with them. But that's just, again, I received the direction that that's the company that you wish to use, but I don't know if that was explicit or just an interim placement firm. So I guess I would need direction. If you want, I have the actual letter that we could have Mayor Watkins sign off on, and we can enter that into agreement, as of Monday if you'd like, or if you want me to research, I've got a couple other firms I can definitely reach out to. We could do it quickly because I know time is of the essence, so.
Okay. And we're not locked into using them during the process of interviewing city managers. They don't come forward with us for that, to us with
Two separate
two separate
things.
issues.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Because sometimes that happens when you use a headhunter.
Correct. Interim firms will also offer you that if they end up placing somebody, that you could buy that out at a certain fee. This particular group has typically got retirees that only want to do the interim, but there has been on occasion where they have somebody, hey, you'd also might want to consider them. That would be a separate contract.
Okay. Counselor Staley, you have experience with this company from the previous search. So any input on this that you'd like to say?
Yeah, IPM did deliver a fantastic interim manager last time around. The process was quick. They had 2 people to choose from, and like I said, Jim Bacon was fantastic. So I think they do have a lot of really good, strong resources. And then that's who we also use to hire the city manager as well. We use them, so. But that's the next item.
Right, that's a separate item. Okay.
So I would feel confident using IPM again.
Okay. Counselor, any discussion with that?
I
Vice
just
Mayor?
had a question to you, Krista.
Yes.
So is this exclusivity pretty common?
I would say yes. You wouldn't want to have a whole bunch of people looking for this high-level position and actually pull against each other. So I would understand why you would want that exclusivity. That's not really a red flag for me. It's just IPM's contract's very specific. They have kind of a service guarantee that they would have up to three candidates within 15 calendar days.
Okay,
Or
that
no,
was
pardon
going to
me,
be my
15 business days, business days.
that was going to be my next
Yeah.
question.
And then you would have the opportunity to then interview or select from those candidates. And if you chose that you did not want to, we would go fishing again.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions from council? Counselor Walker?
I was going to ask if that was a motion.
That would be next.
Sure, I will make a motion that we authorize HR to initiate a contract with IPM for the placement of an interim city manager.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Item number 3.
All right, for the discussion regarding the recruitment process, the timelines that we were able to hire the previous city manager was about 15 weeks, but that was after we selected the executive recruiting firm. So we're looking at, hopefully hiring somebody by the beginning of the calendar year is what my hope would be. I think it's, a good market. I think there's folks out there, but there's a, competition as well. I prepared for you, this is the current job description that's on file for the city manager. There's also the recruitment brochure that was used from the prior recruitment. It wasn't IPM, I believe it was Springstead and Waters. I think that's who the company was.
Okay.
I think it's got their logo on the back, is why I remember that. We do not have to use that same kind of a brochure, but usually the executive firm will do that for us. I just wanted to kind of show you a sample of what they'll be doing for us. The last contract, since it was back in 2017, I think it was for about $25,000 is what it cost for the recruitment stuff. That doesn't include flying the candidates in for meet and greets or any of those other costs associated with it. And that's been 5-6 years, so 7 years, however long that's been. So I'm sure the costs will have changed, but I'll be happy to get those prices and kind of get you a selection for that. I guess I would like to ask direction if there would be a subcommittee to work with on this with HR, or if it will be the full council. How would you like, I guess, the direction for that?
Good question. Council? Councilor Pat, I know you are buried already with what you've got going on in your life. Is this something you'd want to consider?
As a as a subcommittee, no, but I'm very interested in the process. I would
Okay.
like to be more hands-on. I recall many meetings with this council where if the city manager knew something and we didn't know something, we would get pretty upset and we would want to be included. I just asked to be included, but not part of the subcommittee.
Okay?
Mr. Mayor, may I add?
Yes.
So in my understanding, the way the subcommittee worked would be just getting the framework of making the selection of the executive firm, but the whole city council would be a part of the interview process. We would have panel interviews. We would, if you direct us to, have outside stakeholders input. We did that meet and greet. I think you probably recall that. So there's a lot of things that the whole council would definitely be.
And I'm pretty sure all
Purview.
of the council wants
Yeah.
to be involved in this
Yeah.
process.
But I was hoping for a subcommittee so we could do things a little bit more agilely, but again,
Well,
just.
and a subcommittee can oftentimes move faster too.
I think it would be a good idea to open up to the entire council. We can do workshops. We only need 24-hour notice so that it can be more relaxed. And if not everybody can make those, then I think that's okay. But still being able to open up to everyone to give input is really important. This is a huge decision for this council to make.
I think that's wise too.
I agree.
I think you just got your answer.
Absolutely. So direction then, as far as next steps for this, I will, I guess, obtain some various amount of, like, requests for information for the qualified people that can actually do the executive recruiting.
Okay?
I would prepare that and share that back with the council.
So some of the things I wanted to talk about is that I would like to use a recruiting firm, but I'd also like to open it up to post the job and see if we don't get any qualified candidates just through that through the website and applying. I think that we might, I don't know how that works with the headhunter because you're talking about IPM as exclusive, but I think that we should have the ability to get applicants as well as use a headhunter for the actual city manager position.
Right, yeah, so in this conversation, we are talking about the recruitment for the city manager, not the placement of the interim. I agree. The technology has changed, the avenues have changed as far as recruitment methods. So some agencies do prefer to do it in-house. We can prepare our own professional brochure. We have the abilities and the resources to do that. We also have a pretty wide range, between the league and the ICMA, different ones. We could definitely advertise it. Again, I don't know the quality of candidates that we'll get on our own, and I'm happy to do that. And I don't know if we do that for a little while and then move to the other, or if a lot of times the firms don't want to do it because they want to be able to get the placement fee, right?
Sure.
Yes.
I think we should do both, and they just will have to deal with that.
Okay.
They might not want to though, as Krista just mentioned,
Sure.
because of that. So, but we certainly could, I think immediately or pretty quick get something out on the website to start with.
Sure.
And
Right.
then while we're making this decision, if we're going to use a professional company,
Yeah.
Mayor.
find somebody. So,
I think a professional company is probably going to be the best way to go. but still to open it up in case there's somebody within Mojave County that applies that is qualified, and maybe they're not plugged into a headhunter. So that's why I would suggest trying to do it both ways. I also have been looking at other city manager job descriptions in other areas, and I would like to update this job description. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I think that there's some things that we could clean up in here and be just a little bit more modern with it.
I'm good with that. Have you all had a chance to take a look at this yet? I know some of you have been studying it as we walked in.
Yeah.
Counselor, did you just bring this in for us, or you asked Krista to bring it?
She brought it in
That's
for
right.
us, and I
Okay.
just had been looking at other ones
Okay.
and saw some things like the city of San Luis has a really nice one. I was looking at theirs and thinking there were some things maybe we could add or just edit this a little bit to reflect some of those items. I think.
Well, it sounds like you have something in mind. What are you thinking already?
You know, I wish I had my notes with me. I didn't know that we were going to be doing this
Okay.
today.
Okay, so do we want to have another meeting quickly next week?
Or
Can we just,
Or a workshop?
a workshop, or
To discuss
just
it?
send in our notes. We could send them in.
And Krista could then
Krista?
send them out to all of us?
Yeah,
That we can do that legally, right? Yeah.
sure.
Krista, do you think that'll work for you?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay,
That would be
Let's
easy,
do that.
right? Okay,
that'd be the easiest way to get it done quickly.
yeah.
And obviously, if we can find somebody from our own endeavors, we're going to save a lot of money doing that.
Absolutely.
Have we had success doing that before?
I don't know the track record on that.
So for the Economic Development Director, we used a firm once, and then we ended up doing it ourselves, and we were successful. You know, Gary Kellogg was a great hire, so.
Okay,
City manager can be different, but again, I know other agencies have done it in-house and been successful. I just am not positive about a firm allowing direct applications versus that, because they're going to be doing advertising on our behalf for that fee, and they're going to want everything funneled through them.
Yeah.
But I'll definitely check everything out for you.
yeah, okay.
Maybe there's a compromise in there.
Absolutely.
You know, maybe they've come across this before, and you can bring us back something that would allow a more local marketing plus nationwide. 'Cause
Absolutely.
last time we did have people from all over the United States that applied and flew in
Mm-hmm.
to interview, and that's what the headhunter is going to give you, is a broader search.
Right.
People with qualifications to fill the spot. So I don't want to not do that, but I'd like to see what the other brings in.
I understand. Thank you.
Okay, any other thoughts from council?
The other question I wanted to kind of verify or put out there for you is the city manager rate of pay. I've asked our current consultant that we worked with on the comp study to give me an idea of our comparators for city manager. I have rates from 2022 in June. Those have changed drastically since then. And they're going to update that for me, and I can definitely send that out to you guys so you have that range. Currently, the city manager's average as of June 22, the salary that we were paying Mr. Fogman was right in line with that. But again, that was in 2022, so things have changed, so.
Okay,
Okay.
how much more are they now on a percentage, you think?
Well, even like with Mr.
23.
Foggen's salary back then, it had gone up about 15,000, you know what I mean? So
Okay.
it changed in that time frame as well, so
Okay,
percentage-wise, I don't know, because I don't have all the details of the new rates. But that'll be something for your consideration, whether we do it in-house or if we actually go out, we're gonna have to have that. I think on that brochure, it said mid-150s or something, and you can
Yes.
see it changed a lot since then.
yeah, because right now, you're already saying probably 170s.
Correct,
Okay,
correct.
okay. Any other questions for Krista then? Thank you, Krista. I think that's it.
All right, well, I'm glad I could help. Thank you very much.
Council, any other thing we need to discuss since we're here? Or Carl, is there anything else? We can't discuss anything else, can we?
Just what was
Just
on the
what's
agenda.
Thank you. Thanks for the reminder. Okay, if there's no argument then, I suggest that we adjourn.
Sounds good.
Okay, we are adjourned.